He walked into the diner like any other customer, sliding onto a worn leather stool, expecting nothing more than a quiet breakfast. But as he glanced around, the air felt heavier than usual. Whispers flickered from behind the counter, glances exchanged with barely concealed tension. He was just a man ordering toast, yet he sensed something was off. Every instinct screamed caution. What he was about to discover would shake the very foundation of this small-town eatery. Could a simple breakfast reveal hidden truths no one dared speak aloud? Watch until the end. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Darius Bennett, the owner of a successful restaurant chain, was no stranger to prejudice. But here, in his small hometown diner, he had chosen to walk incognito. His corporate life rarely left room for such subtle observation. Here, he could move unnoticed, listening to how people truly treated others. The diner was cozy, a nostalgic relic of another era, with checkered floors, vinyl booths, and the scent of frying bacon curling in the air. He'd always been proud of rising from humble beginnings. Yet he had never forgotten the sting of being underestimated because of the color of his skin. Today he wore plain clothes, an ordinary hat pulled low, hiding the face everyone knew. His plan was simple: experience this diner as any other customer. But from the moment he stepped in, he felt a tension, a murmur that hinted this ordinary morning would turn extraordinary. He approached the counter, greeted by a friendly yet distant waitress, and ordered toast, nothing more. Her eyes flickered briefly, a subtle pause, but he dismissed it as tiredness. Then, as he watched the cooks through the small window into the kitchen, he noticed a pattern. A whispered conversation cut short when he looked their way, glances loaded with something unspoken. A man at the booth behind him muttered under his breath, and the waitress glanced over her shoulder nervously. The diner, usually a safe and mundane haven for locals, now hummed with an invisible tension that prickled at his skin. Darius realized he was no longer just a customer. He was a test, an unknown variable stirring unease in a place that thrived on routine. Suddenly, a whisper behind the counter, just loud enough for him to hear, froze him. "You don't belong here," the voice said, with barely concealed venom. His heart skipped a beat. It wasn't overt, but the message was unmistakable. He looked around. Friendly smiles masked cautious eyes, polite nods shadowed by suspicion. A diner that once symbolized comfort now felt like a minefield. How far would they go to remind him of his place? The whisper repeated, this time sharper, the intent undeniable, fear, judgment, and deep-seated bias converging in that tiny moment. Darius froze, toast forgotten, as the invisible walls of prejudice pressed in from every corner. Every gesture, the waitress's forced smile, the cook's averted eyes, spoke louder than words. In that instant, he understood the truth. This wasn't about toast or service. It was about recognition, ownership, and a lifetime of underestimation boiling over in a few seconds of human interaction. He could feel the weight of history bearing down, each glance echoing the countless times others had been marginalized. The small diner had become a stage where the subtle cruelty of society performed itself with chilling precision. The whisper behind the counter wasn't just sound, it was a reminder of what it meant to be unseen and underestimated. Darius left the diner, toast untouched, carrying more than hunger. He had the invisible scars of prejudice, yet also clarity. He realized that even familiar places, once symbols of comfort, could conceal silent judgments, woven into the everyday interactions of strangers. This morning reminded him that systemic injustice didn't always roar. It whispered, lingered in pauses, and thrived in polite smiles that hid venom. Yet he also understood the power of presence, of showing up and witnessing. One person's awareness could illuminate countless hidden truths. As he walked away, he reflected on the numerous diners, stores, and streets where whispers of prejudice remained unheard. How many times are people silenced, unseen, underestimated? Share your thoughts below and tell us, what city and country are you watching from? Take care.